So normally I think unboxing videos are kind of dumb, but I'm gonna try something new for a change. Why not? That's what we do here. Try new things. So this is my package from the Criterion Flash sale, and it's kind of great. It's been enough time since I made the order that I don't really remember entirely what I got, so this will be a first time for everyone. All right, let's see what we got. Open it with a chopstick. That's how every box should be opened. I kind of know what's the big thing, what the big thing is here, but okay. Okay, yeah, so Mira Nair's Salam Bombay. I haven't seen this since community college back on the Cape. It was a VHS for that we watched for an international cinema class. It was my introduction to Mira Nair, and I don't know, it never really left me. I thought it was a really solid movie, a good coming of age story, um, a little heartbreaking if I remember correctly, and I remember the one of the main characters, I guess spoiler for Slum Bombay, um, is kind of betrayed by a character who's a drug addict, and no one in the class was very sympathetic to the character, and I always thought that was very strange that a lot of people were saying, but he's an addict, and I was like, yeah, but he's also a human being, man. I'm really excited to see this in 4K because, like I said, I haven't seen it since the VHS days. So I'm sure it's going to just present all sorts of new things that I either forgot about or didn't notice in that lower resolution. But yeah, Mira Nair, I'm surprised it took them a while to get to this one. Maybe it's because this is the first Mira Nair film that I saw, so I just associate it with her immediately. But regardless, I'm glad it's out now and we can watch it in glorious 4K, director approved, of course. Okay, so this is this is the big one, the Andre Gregory Wallace and Shawn set. This is funny because like normally with the fire sales, I try to get something like a little different that I wouldn't normally get, and yeah, this one is an interesting one because these are very talky films about intellectuals talking about art and literature and theater and what have you. Um, I think for a lot of people my age, our first reference to My Dinner with Andre was the Simpsons episode where Martin Prince, the geeky nerdy kid, is playing a arcade game of My Dinner with Andre. Um, so then years later, I figured out that it's directed by Louis Malle, a great director, and I was actually house sitting for some friends of mine, and they had some DVDs out, and I was kind of looking through them, and I saw that they had the DVD of My Dinner with Andre, and I texted him. I was like, "Hey, this is really cool. Um, could I borrow it? Because it's not like a casual film you just kind of throw on. Like I just didn't have the bandwidth at the time to watch My Dinner with Andre. I knew I would want to watch it later, and they were just kind of like, you can just keep it. We don't really know why we have this movie, so that was a plus. Um, and naturally, I watched it and I thought it was quite amazing. And then Vanya on 42nd Street is a really special film. Around this period, I was renting a room, and it was just a room rental, shared bathroom, and what have you. So I just spent a lot of time in my room watching movies. I know it sounds terrible, right? It's actually quite nice. It also explains why I was also in a hurry to house sit at the same time. And this is a movie I think about a lot. I'm always thinking about movies, obviously, but Vanya on 42nd Street, especially because it's about people talking and about theater and acting and performing and kind of transcending these barriers of what a film can be. And Louis Malle is one of the few directors I think that can actually take something like that and just make it this incredibly poignant, incredibly memorable event. And it kind of feels like an event. It doesn't really feel like it doesn't feel like a conventional movie, as is the case with My Dinner with Andre. But Vanya on 42nd Street is always really kind of imprinted on me, and it's stuck with me over the years. So I'm really eager to rewatch it. And also, it's kind of a testament to, Wallace Shawn. He's so much more than the inconceivable guy. And anyone who sees, I think, My Dinner with Andre and Vanya on 42nd Street will probably feel the same way. I always kind of feel like it'd be funny if I ever met him. I'd make it a point to not say inconceivable and say I thought you were great in Vanya on 42nd Street. Whether or not that's going to happen is completely um, up to the movie gods. And then A Master Builder is the last film, and it's Jonathan Demme. And it's interesting. You go from two Louis Malle films, who's very a unique director who has this unique ability to kind of strike this unique tone of kind of like harmonious intellectualism in a kind of I don't want to say minimalist way, but yeah, no, I guess I could say minimalist way. But Jonathan Demme is a just as remarkable director. I mean, I don't know anything about Master Builder. I know that it's part of this three film thing, which is reason enough to get it. So I'm excited to see what's going on. And also, Jonathan Demme, I think, is just so flexible. You go from like Beloved to Silence of the Lambs, and then Melvin Howard, and these very sympathetic and compassionate portrayals of about people. And I think that's a great companion for the tone that, that's struck in the first two films here, My Dinner with Andre and Vanya on 42nd Street. And I think that's kind of part of the whole thing is that you kind of trust the brand, if you will, and at this point, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, and I'm pretty sure the third one is going to be great too. So yeah, and of course it's jacked up with a bunch of bonus features. We've got interview with Noah Baumbach. That makes sense that he'd be influenced by these films. 1982 episode of BBC's Arena. I actually really like the BBC Arena shows. They're a lot of fun, and it's great footage from the time you get to see these actors and directors, talking about their work while it's going on or while it's recent. So that's a lot of fun. And also, I just like watching old programming stuff. Old archival footage is kind of my jam. And then, yeah, so original essays, you got to have those, right? This is exciting. I am stoked to watch these. So, anyway, that's been my unboxing video for my Criterion Flash sale purchases. Very, 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 very restrained outing for me. But that's what's kind of fun about Criterion is that you can get your samurai films and your Godzilla movies and stuff, and then you can also get 3 movies about people talking, and it's just as remarkable. So, yeah, pretty cool. Also, a cat didn't interrupt this at all. It's like a first time thing. I guess this was a really good idea. Anyway, thanks for watching.